Hi guys, welcome back to yet another episode of the PS2 Collector, episode 63. Now, on the previous episode, we finally got 400 games into the collection, and guys, you should know by now, you know the drill. 5 more games. Let's see what we've got this time on the PS2 Collector. Right guys, so let's start off with game number 401, and it's a SingStar game with a white label, and that is SingStar R&B. So this game is very expensive to play because you cannot play this with the original controller. You must buy the microphone, and trust me, a Sony branded microphone is expensive, especially in today's age where collectors are going for everything. Literally any accessory related to the PS2 costs a lot of money. So with that being said, is it worth playing? No, because it's too expensive to play and there's no replayability whatsoever. It's a good game to play with your family, but other than that, nah, it's just not my cup of tea. And for majority of you most likely will not play this game, but if you have, this game might be exactly just for you. And guys, that's game number 401, SingStar R&B, white label too. Right guys, so on to the next game, game number 402, and it's a movie-based tie-in game, and that is Ice Age 2, The Meltdown. Me, I loved the Ice Age films, but what about the games? The games for me have always been a mixed bag. But let's talk about Ice Age Meltdown 2. The game's visuals, aesthetics and graphics are very smooth. They capture the movie really well. However, what lets this game down is a lack of challenge and a lack of replayability, because it is understandable because this game was made for kids and the puzzles are not that difficult, and the challenge, this game is way too easy. If they amped up the difficulty a bit, it could have been a really good solid platformer. And the length of this game, you can complete the game between 4 to 5 hours. So if you do enjoy action platformers that are not that long, give Ice Age 2 Meltdown a go. Despite its lack of challenge, there is fun to be had. If you're an Ice Age fan, this game is definitely for you. And guys, that's game number 402, Ice Age 2, The Meltdown. Right guys, so on to the next game, game number 403, and this game for me is a mixed bag, and that is Headhunter Redemption for the PS2. The original Headhunter was a decent game. The sequel for me was a huge letdown. There was so much wrong with this game. The story though, the story is the only reason why I would recommend this game. It's got a very dark story, but I don't want to spoil it for anyone. However, the bugs, the frame rates, the camera, this game looked unfinished. It needed more time, simple as that. It needed more time. The camera is wonky as well, man. For a game with, it had huge expectations. However, it just did not deliver. And for me, I would only recommend this game for hardcore Headhunter fans. And the franchise, as far as I'm aware of, stayed on the PS2. Again, with the PS2, loads of franchises either started and ended in that generation. However, if you do enjoy stealth, puzzle, action-based games, Headhunter Redemption is an absolute must-play, but be aware of its flaws. And guys, that's game number 403, Headhunter Redemption. Right guys, so on to the next game, game number 404, and that game is LA Rush. Yeah. So, this game here, what else can I say? Graphics, brilliant. It was also sponsored by West Coast Customs, which was very popular in a show called Pimp My Ride, if you remember back in the day with the exhibit. So this game, again, had everything going for it. It looked amazing. However, what lets it down is the gameplay, the repetitive missions. Even though it was open world, the world just looked bland. And the biggest criticism, now hear this out, the biggest criticism, this game, having West Coast customs in this game, you're not allowed to customize your vehicle. How make that make sense? How can you have West Coast customs in this game and you're not allowed to customize your vehicle? That for me destroys any meaning that makes this game great. This game was competing against Need for Speed, Burnout, Midnight Club, and it was a huge disappointment. This game could have been even better than it actually was. It just needed a bit more polishing, a bit more mods, to make it more replayable. But again, it just did not do enough to capture the game's imagination. So guys, if you do enjoy your Need for Speeds, for me, this game is Need for Speed Lite. That's the best way to describe this game, Need for Speed Lite. So if you do enjoy Need for Speed, you get this game. However, for me, a huge disappointment, had so much potential. And that, my friends, is game number 404, LA Rush. Yeah! Alright guys, so on to the final game of this video, game number 405. And that is Ferrari Challenge Trofeo Pirelli Deluxe for the PS2. This game is a very late release in the PS2's lifecycle. This game was released all the way back in 2008. And for me, when you're competing against Gran Turismo and Forza Motorsport, the two pioneers when it comes to simulation gaming, you have to deliver. And unfortunately, Ferrari, again, just basically the license made the game. Ferrari license got this game to sell. If this game was sold as bare bone, it would not have done well. And you can tell because again, it lacks any charm, lacks any character. The graphics for me is quite outdated, especially for a 2008 release. This game had no replayability whatsoever. The visuals could have been a bit better, but again, it is a PS2 port. The PS3 port is where all the basically budget was spent on. However, it is quite a decent simulation game, but again, look at the competitors at the time. 2008, Burnout Paradise, for me, one of the greatest arcade racing games of all time, one of the greatest car games ever made. Then you got Pro Street out at the time. There were so many competitors. Even Gran Turismo, Forza Motorsport were at their best. And unfortunately, this game had no chance competing against them games. However, if you are a fan of simulation racing games, and if you are a fan of Ferrari, this game is an absolute must play for you. However, I would avoid it at all costs because there's way better games out there. So guys, that's the final game of this video. Ferrari Challenge Trofeo Pirelli Deluxe for the PS2. And guys, 405 games, now we're on to mission 500. And by the end of the year, I want to reach 1,000 games. So guys, until next time, take care.